Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. We post an interview with an amazing Canadian each weekday for your daily inspiration. Today, I would like to introduce you to one of my dear friends, Wayne Steer. Wayne was born in Estevan, Saskatchewan, where his father worked for Dome Petroleum's Steelman gas plant as a registered industrial accountant. Wow, Dome Petroleum, that was a while ago. Wayne mentioned that families are funny sometimes, and often loving relationships are complicated by the dynamics. Sometimes just loving unconditionally and keeping the door open is all that we can do. You know, that's what my dad did, and it worked for him, Wayne. We can certainly choose who we wish to nourish our soul and who we will wish to provide nourishment to. However, so true. Wayne is also passionate about helping people, finding light in the midst of darkness or hope and despair, and leaving the world a better place than when he found it. And that is true. I see him do it each and every day. Such a good human.
Thank you.
Friends, you will find his full bio attached. Wayne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure, Catherine. Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Oh, I'm honored you're here. So what a good team. Are you ready for the questions we sent you?
Shoot.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll try not to shoot.
Okay.
So the first question being, what's been your greatest challenge in the last few months?
The last few months, some of the greatest challenges have been around reintegrating, I can't say post-COVID, but in the changing dynamics of COVID. So professionally, I was working from home from March 13th until mid-June or so, and I worked for a men's alcohol and drug addiction treatment center. And a great part of what we do is we interact with the men on a daily basis, and we get to know them and get to know some of their struggles and trials and tribulations, and get to see them triumph and create a new life. But being away from that, I lost track with the guys, and now because of COVID restrictions and things we have to do, walk around, and it's hard to recognize people because everybody looks like this, and look a little bit blue, and you don't have the interaction as much. So it's that I found quite difficult. Just learning how to navigate more in a broader sense to trying to heed what Alberta Health Services is saying to do, and make sure that others are safe, that I am safe too, while still maintaining sanity.
Yeah, sanity, that's a word. Let's go there for a second, Wayne. You know that I'm passionate about brain and mental health.
Yes, absolutely.
How do you think this has impacted your clients at Fresh Start? How are they being impacted? How are you measuring it? What's happening to them now being isolated? And I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're dealing with clients like that you are, isn't isolation actually part of the issue that gets them to the point of addiction and thoughts of suicide, etc.?
Yeah, that's very true, Catherine. So disease or addiction is a disease of isolation, and the more people isolate, the more they're prone to turning to alcohol or drugs to capture something that's missing. So the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. So we've had both physical isolation and social isolation with respect to this COVID. And one thing that it's done for the guys that are actually in the house, it's actually been great for them, because the ones that have opted to stay, they've become a tighter, more cohesive unit, and learn to rely more on each other than they would otherwise have if they were going out to AA meetings, NA meetings every night, going back to their family, doing these sorts of things. So in that respect, I think it's really helped them. But in the broader community, you're right, the disconnection, it is really going to take its toll. We've noticed already that our wait list has gone up from an average of 120 to anywhere from 150 to 180. So 30 to 50% jump in the number of people that are actively calling us and saying, hey, I need help, I want treatment, how can I get in, that sort of thing. But we've only got 50 beds, and we're 14 to 16 week treatment program. So we have to subscribe to that and keep to that, and to ensure that the guys receive the full benefit of their treatment and their recovery regimen.
So where are the people going that you have to turn away?
Some of them go to other treatment centers. Some of them white knuckle it. And what I mean by that is they just try to keep on doing things. Typically, we would say, well, make sure that you go to a meeting every day or every second day or that sort of thing. So they can't physically or haven't been able to physically do that. There have been a lot of AANA different meetings that have been via Skype and Zoom and GoTo and all the different platforms. Which is helpful, but it still doesn't replace that face-to-face, that human contact, which is really important in establishing that connection. So, so it's not as bad as it could be, but it's certainly not as good as it could be. And I think we're going to see the lasting effects of this for quite some time. And thankfully, we've got in Alberta, we have a government that's really recognizing this and stepping up to help to put measures into place to look after that future demand, or to help with that future demand anyway.
Good. Well, my heart hurts for the ones that are being left behind and left alone. It's brutal.
Yeah.
What are the three things that you'd like to share with the audience today, Wayne?
Well, I think during this time more than any other time, it really behooves us to really actively listen, to hear what people are saying rather than listen and then think of how you're going to retort or rebut. Because when you actively listen, you hear what the people are saying, and there's often a lot of things that are couched. And right now, because of the isolation, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of angst, and people typically don't say, "Hey, help me! I need help." They reach out in small, subtle ways. So if you listen actively, you might pick up some of those subtle ways. And one of the other things is that's related to that is set judgment aside and opinion, and open up and be more curious and understanding, and understand that each person has a different journey to get them to where they are, and you yourself and each of us watching has a series of different events in our journey that have made us what we are, how we are, to do what we are. So who are we to judge? And then the third thing is interrelated to practice kindness, and be open to reaching out and helping people, but almost more importantly is be open to receiving help when you need it too. There are many of us that are willing to help other people and go out there and be a super person, but oh no, I don't need any help. Don't come to me to help me. I don't need it. But when in fact we all do in certain ways. So just be more caring, loving, kind, and open to interacting, and by doing that, I think we'll all get through this a little less scathed, shall we say.
I love it. That's great advice, Wayne. It reminds me of one of my dadisms. As you remember, he had many. And one quote was, "No one gets anywhere without everyone." And I truly believe that the thought of any of us ever being truly what would be perceived as independent, I've been a made person, and whatever that is, I challenge that all day long. There is no one on the earth that didn't get where they are or have what they have without a wide variety of people around them. Even if they're in an isolated situation, even if they're in the worst situation possible, that person is in that place with lots of help that got them there, even if they don't even know the people that helped get them there.
Yeah. And then often just asking for a ladder will, it may not appear overnight or right away, but it'll send the signal out, and people will come and help. I mean, this community, Calgary, Southern Alberta, is a wonderful community for stepping up and helping neighbors. It was really built on neighbors helping neighbors, and we've seen that several times in the past. The flood of 2013 was a great example of people just reaching out and helping strangers, people that they had no idea existed, but they were there in some cases helping day after day after day.
Yeah.
It's really a testament to the resiliency, but also willingness to look at our vulnerabilities and say, hey, I'm not perfect, I do need help.
I agree. That reminds me of my farming background and how, and you know this, that when farmers are falling behind in their harvest, all the other farmers will bring their equipment and start helping that farmer finish,
Yeah.
so that everybody finishes at the same time.
Yeah, like the Three Musketeers, all for one and one for all.
I knew you'd have to say something like that, Wayne. We could not get through this call without that. I know.
There you go. It's almost a dadism.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Yeah.
If you were my dad, it'd be a dadism. And what about a good news or legacy story that you'd like to share?
A good news or legacy story. Well, I think that there are a lot of people, we see every day a lot of bad news, but we also see every day a lot of good news and people stepping up. And I think the good news is that amid all the darkness we see, there's always silver linings and always people stepping up to help others. So I think the good news is just the encouragement that I have in seeing random acts of kindness every day and everyday people, and some of the things that people will do to make sure that they can deliver services or deliver hope or deliver good is fantastic and really inspiring. And there's one fellow that provides services to our guys through fitness and exercise. His name is Ron Jarrett, and during COVID, he couldn't come here anymore, so he reinvented everything and did fitness by Zoom. So he was pushing guys. All the guys were in the masks in the gym, and he was on the big screen pushing them. And now he's back with the masks now with all COVID, but he continues to push them. And I find him to be an inspiration on a daily basis, and really inspires the guys. And fitness, physical wellness is integral part of mental wellness, and addiction is a mental illness. So if you're physically well, if you become physically better, you can't help but become mentally more fit as well.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
For all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wayne, thank you so much for joining us today. I know your time is precious and you're a busy guy doing some good work out there.
Well, thanks, Catherine. I'm very happy to make time for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Love making time for my dear friends.
I feel the same. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Everybody, that was my dear friend Wayne Steer with Fresh Start. Check them out. They're doing some great work. They need lots of support. The need is great. So donate, please. Talk soon. Have a great day.